Did KSI and Logan Paul sponsor this photo on Kim Kardashian's Instagram? Today we have pop culture commentator Tatiana Budokan. You're watching Brand Video Pro and I'm your host Kenim. Let's get into the video. Kim Kardashian features Prime on her Instagram page. And it was so okay, so if anybody knows if you don't know what Prime is, it's a new energy drink by Logan Paul and KSI, these YouTubers, one of the biggest YouTubers in the US and UK. Mm-hmm. They come together, they create this drink, and it's already made millions of dollars. I don't know how many, but it's made a lot of money. It's crazy numbers. And it just it's almost like YouTubers are moving into the space of billionaire.
Yes.
You look at KSI, Logan Paul. There was even another drink that was bought, and Kobe Bryant bought it. No, Kobe Bryant had some sort of association with it, and it sold for I think almost $1 billion or something crazy like that. Now this drink has the hype of KSI and Logan Paul. They're both athletes. They sponsored the UFC and Arsenal. So it's like this is a $1 billion company. So my question is, wow, they got Kim Kardashian on this. That's first. And they got her to promote it in a way that's seamless, that some people don't even realize, but we'll talk about whether you think it's seamless or not, but people don't realize what this could be. My question is, how much did they pay Kim for this ad? Let me hear your thoughts, Tatiana.
Oh, I'm gonna Google this actually right now, because I'm sure the amount is absurd. As we can see the level of what Kim Kardashian has been promoting lately. I mean, high-end fashion brands. I mean, this is an energy drink by YouTubers. And I mean...
And they had a Super Bowl commercial that aired at Super Bowl. So they have money. They have money.
Just imagine how much cash they have. Kenim, I was just in the UK. Oof. And Prime is sold out. And resellers are selling Prime for up to £13 for a bottle. And people are even buying from the resellers Prime.
Wow.
And teenagers, I'm probably even adults, are rushing to buy it. And between me and you, I tasted it, and a can of Fanta definitely tastes much better, but that's between me and you.
But does it taste better than Gatorade? Because it's not in competition with Fanta, right? It's an energy drink that's supposed to be healthier.
I tasted the orange flavor, but...
Yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's competing with soft drinks. It's competing with energy, like sports drinks that are supposed to be healthy. Apparently, the calorie intake is very low, or if not none. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. What I do know is a few years ago, it was revealed that Kim charged $1 million for a post, but that's
definitely charges more. Definitely.
Yeah. That and okay. So when you look at the photo, do you think is it an obvious plug to you?
It's an obvious plug.
Right.
Obvious. Try to be seamless, obviously including her daughter, because they want
her son.
Her son, excuse me, pardon me. I looked at the photo yesterday, I forgot. So because it is aimed towards younger people.
Bam.
Preteens, teens, and children.
So these are my questions, right? Because my brother, who is probably 21, was saying that it's not a plug. But because I come from the industry, I know you're not. If you know that is prime real estate and you charge upwards of $2 million you're not going to post a brand by mistake that's perfectly placed in your face for us to see it. So that's one thing. The second thing was, I thought it was interesting, very interesting, how she included her sons into, this whole dynamic. And it's like the superstar soccer mom, right? That takes her son and his friends to the biggest stage in the world. I think they took a picture with, what's his name? Mbappe. Yeah. So you're taking your sons as a soccer mom to the biggest stage in the world to advertise in this way. I mean, soccer moms across America, soccer moms in the UK, football moms in the UK, they're going to be, this is going to make, the sales fly off the shelf, if you ask me.
Yes. So, it was already flying off the shelf. Can you believe that these two YouTubers, who are not professional athletes, they're still technically amateur athletes, now have the drink that officially sponsors UFC
and Prime. Well, that it just goes to show, because I just feel like it's about time the media stops sort of downplaying the impact of YouTube, because Prime aside, Mr. Beast, who has Beast Burgers, right? He sold over $100 million from that was like before. That's like, this is old news. This is like maybe 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how much money he's made. And also, yeah, so the impact of social media and the impact of being on YouTube and getting attention, you're more influential than, anyone that's backed by sort of traditional media systems, at the end of the day. So like, it's not surprising. And I think that maybe Logan is amateur, maybe KSI is amateurish, but I feel like Jake Paul has kind of like made his name in that space, as like a pro boxer. And I feel like they are sort of like adjacent to that professional, because they really revived the whole boxing industry because it was dying before them.
They did, but because of their YouTube fame, they're not technically boxers.
Well, yeah, I think KSI, I don't know, I think KSI might be, but otherwise it doesn't matter, because the people that own Gatorade are not boxers, right? So why is that, that's not a credential that necessarily matters, right? What is more interesting to me is how they've been able to take this brand and turn it into a company that can compete with Gatorade, to the fact that it's even now more in demand and more seen as superior than even a Gatorade. That's what is surprising to me.
In such a short amount of time. It's absolutely
and I think, you know what? I think in the UK, like the only real competitors maybe like Lucozade, which is like awful, right? So like they don't have Gatorade in the UK. So like I can see why it's flying off the shelves in the UK. The price is high. There's no whatever. The question is it because there's so much competition in America? So the question is, how well is it even doing here? But with that Kim Kardashian ad, and obviously Logan is huge in America, so I'm sure like the numbers are just insane.
But I'm sure that it's doing so well, not because of the taste or the low calories or the energy that it gives you. It's because of the branding attached to it. That's for, I think, absolute certain.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, the way they've marketed this is completely genius.
But that ad, but I think actually the most is the influence. I think that's the most important thing. Because like, just as you said in the last call, you said that you would buy toilet paper if Beyonce sold it. That's the effect that an influencer has.
Exactly. And we're even talking about like males, but the females that like the big makeup YouTubers, like when they release like a new lip liner or some eyeshadow, they sell out faster than any kind of big brands in the Sephora stores like Jove and like Lancome. They sell more, like people rush for these things.
Even just Jeffree Star, look at how he's made hundreds of millions just off of being an influencer that, started a brand. And so it just goes to show like, I interviewed a student at Harvard Business School when Kim Kardashian taught there. And it was just, it goes to show, Kim was just talking about how as a brand, as an influencer, people are moving away from, they're moving away from brand. Like, it's just harder these days to sell if you don't have an influencer attached to your brand. And you can't just get any influencer attached. You can't have them attached in an arbitrary way. They have to show that it has to represent who they are as a brand, and they have to participate in it. And that's why I think when we talked about Beyonce last time, it didn't work for her because athleisure didn't really work with her or how the audience experiences her. With Kim Kardashian, yes, she's been able to start all these brands, but her involvement in Prime is so sound. The fact that she is a soccer mom, her sons do love the World Cup, love soccer or football, and the World Cup just happened. So there's like rise in, American consciousness around the World Cup, a global consciousness around football or soccer. And so she's really tapped into that in a very impactful way. So I'm really curious to know how much they've sold because of this.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should Google this quickly. But yeah, I mean Kim Kardashian is a global brand at this point. I mean, definitely there's more of an American focus.
Yeah.
But she is a global brand, and
definitely
football/soccer is not as big in the US as it is in the world. But they deemed that Kim Kardashian was she's big enough for the world.
For sure. And that's why she worked with in Arsenal. They probably flew her out there and all of that because there was a lot of press around. Oh, you know what? They spent a lot of money on this thing because there was a lot of press around her meeting Mbappe, being at, it was so like, what is Kim Kardashian doing watching Arsenal? It was, but like, it actually probably was just for this one post.
I think she was watching PSG in Paris at the Parc des Princes.
Yes, like, exactly.
Her kids also got a video call with the England football player.
This is all part of it.
Yeah, it's all part, exactly. I mean, none of this is done. I don't think, the thing is, she's Kim Kardashian, she's huge. She's gonna make every single cent she can while she's this huge. So why like do something naturally?
Yeah, that's they're the kind of the queens and kings of building out public or storytelling around brands. You know so it's interesting how we're talking about this, but we're talking about this in many different ways, not just Kim's Prime. In fact, that's the last thing you're going to think about, Kim's Prime bottle. You're going to think about the story of Kim going to watch Arsenal and all of that. But now it's associated because her first post on Instagram, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's her first post, is of Prime. So that's like it's just genius, seamless marketing.
Kenim, do you even know that now in Madame Tussauds or any kind of wax museum, they do statues of influencers?
And as they should, who, like who?
Well, recently, I mean, the biggest YouTuber in, I think, the French-speaking world is a guy called Squeezie.
Oh, I know him. He's like an Arab-looking guy, right?
No, he's blondish.
Okay, no, this is a different guy. No, I don't know.
He's blonde, but I know who you're talking about. That's another big one. But I think Squeezie is the biggest one in France.
Okay.
And they have, I saw a statue of him at like the French version of Madame Tussauds. And actually, when I was in Paris, he was doing a signing not far from my house. Kenim, you would think that Michael Jackson was doing a signing outside where he was. The queue and the people, average age, let's say 13, but the people that were there, I was shocked. I was like, this is for a YouTuber?
This is what I love. Look at KSI, you know, when they did the Prime release in the UK, or when they did his boxing fights in the UK. Look at Logan Paul in California, you know, when they did that. Like, attention is attention is built by accessibility, right? These celebrities are more accessible. And I think it's so interesting. There's this revolution that has already happened. And I was talking to somebody about why the Oscars is declining in a previous video. Go check that out. But it's like, there's old school media is still trying to hold on and gatekeep this system, but the consumers, the audience, are going to tell you where to find them. Kim Kardashian and Logan Paul have been aligned. I think they did a 60 minutes coverage on both of them and just the influencer market like so many years ago, maybe like a 2014 or 2015. And it's just so clear now that those who paved the way then, they're even more pronounced today, you know? But I think it's great to see the way that people are doing that. I just want to finish off with one last thing. I had spoken to someone, obviously traditional. He worked at some sort of one of Disney's like traditional merchandise companies, and he was talking about how, like, you know, millennials, Gen Z, we don't want to buy things anymore. And I thought that was such a funny comment, but it's just how this old school system don't understand why this new way we purchase way more than we did before, but we purchase in different ways. Like, you can hear, like, I think millennials have more debt than previous generations in America, so many things. So we definitely are purchasing, but the way that we're purchasing is different, and we're no longer purchasing from big brands as much as we are from influencers. So that's why it's so lucrative if you're an influencer to build that or build products on the back end of your influence.
Exactly. Very well said. The influence and the branding, it's gigantic. People are consuming in different ways, obviously, but they're not consuming less. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's just, to me, it's funny how people who are out of touch and who are still, you know, hell bent on gatekeeping have like a rude awakening. The most important thing, if you follow what Jeff Bezos says, is be customer centric. Listen to your customers. They will tell you what they want. And stop trying to focus on, you know, controlling, you know, what they want or insulting them or judging them for what they want. Like, I remember Charlize Theron had said that Kim Kardashian is more likely to fund a film than she can. And if that's the case, so what? That's what consumers want.
It is what it is. We spoke about this on a previous podcast. People don't love the Kardashians, but they're famous as F. So it is what it is.
And people want to consume from them. We don't love you. Well, I love some of them. People don't necessarily love you. You're polarizing, but people will buy from you, and they've shown that. And it is what it is. But with old Hollywood, it's all about loving them and, oh my God, admiring them. But really, what will all that, you know, love and admiration do with sales?
Correct.
Well, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. I'm your host, Kenim. You're watching Brand Video Pro, and I'll see you in the next one. A peace.